I'm perplexed, right? And I want to share my screen with you guys really quickly. I'm perplexed because if you've been living under a rock, if you've been living under a rock, um, then you wouldn't be familiar with the idea that Mr. Beast is probably one of the smartest, wisest, hardest working content creators that I personally take inspiration from on a regular basis, right? And Mr. Beast, in his latest video that probably got a gajillion views, recently set out to hire a doctor to cure 1,000 blind people. Now, in this particular video, it's really just a 10-minute procedure, but he spends an egregious amount of money in order to make sure that he gives back to the community, and he always trying to do positive stuff. And I like him. I really do like him. I think that he's a great content creator, and he's awesome. But as usual, like normal, most people are always going to go against and have something to say about the thing that you are doing that is positive, regardless of how positive it is and how many people you affect. Never mind that these 1,000 people is cured of their blindness. Never mind that. The only thing that matters is going after the people that have the most visibility. And I strongly believe in my heart, that is jealousy. That is jealous. How can you not be excited and want to see people prosper and be successful that are doing things that is giving back to the community? How can you not want to see them get richer, because those are the people that are actually utilizing their resources, their platforms, their money for good? But let's go into it. So he had to recently defend himself. Against people, which if it was me, I wouldn't even be responding to it in the first place if I'm him, right? But he had to go in and he had to defend himself against people that were criticizing him as a result of him going in and hiring a doctor to help cure the blindness of 1,000 people, right? And so that's the doctor, and it went in. But then let's go into the whole thing, right? He said, Mr. Beast, the world's biggest YouTuber, which obviously he's past PewDiePie, responded to online criticism after a video where he paid out of his own pocket for 1,000 people to access eye surgery, sparked criticism among some viewers. YouTuber whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson uploaded the video on January 28th and received 59 million views within 3 days. In the video, it's saying we're curing 1,000 people's blindness as he stood in front of a large crowd. Donaldson said he was arranging for people to get sight restoring cataract surgery and filmed the patient's reaction to seeing clearly again. YouTuber interviewed Jeff Levinson, and half of the blindness in the world is from people who need a 10-minute surgery. So a lot of the things that we see happening in our society at large is as a result of something that could be easily cured, easily taken care of, but we just don't have the heart. We don't have the wherewithal. We don't have the resources. We dependent on the federal government, but we have to start taking it amongst ourselves to cure the problems within our own communities, right? And I talk about this on a regular basis, right? The doctor, I went through and I read a little bit of some other posts, said that when he originally got the call from Mr. Beast, he thought it was a joke and he was about to hang up on him, right? But basically, subsequent Instagram posts from the nonprofit organization C International, who Donaldson collaborated with on a project, stated that the organization conducted the 1,000 surgeries around the world over a 3-week period for the video. And according to the nonprofit My Vision, cataract surgery costs an average of $3,500 per eye. So let's do a little bit of math, right? $3,500 per eye, which a lot of people really don't understand what other people are going through, and they've lived in this privileged world. But let's just say $3,500, well, let's just say $7,000, right? 7,000 times 1,000 people is basically $7 million. $7 million. $7 million. And this is just a screensaver, don't worry about it. $7 million basically to cure for 1,000 people, right? Donaldson also gave away various prizes to participants in the video, including briefcases, which he said contained $10,000 each. So he gave them a $7,000 surgery, and he gave them $10,000 each, a Tesla, and a $50,000 check for one recipient to put towards a college fund. Jesus, I didn't even know that he was doing all of that. Let me read that again. That's For a lot of these people, they up here playing the lottery. They need to try to get in touch with Mr. Beast. He said he gave away various prizes to participants in the video, including briefcases which contain $10,000 each, a Tesla, a $50,000 check for one recipient to put towards college fund. Jeez, oh peas. This guy is better than me. Good grief. The video initially received an overwhelmingly positive and emotional response, but on January 30th, Donaldson tweeted that he did not expect the upload to receive such a large number of views in a short time, receiving messages of support that praised him for his generosity. He said, "I don't think you can watch that video without crying. Hope it inspires more projects like this. We're not going to review the video right here because we got an agenda to keep and we got time to keep because we definitely want to get to Jason Whitlock." But he said as it circulated, some people voiced questions and concerns about the cost and inaccessibility of eye surgery. Most notably, political commentator and Twitch streamer Hassan Piker reacted to Donaldson's video in a January 29th live stream, saying that he watched it and it filled him with rage. It filled him with rage, and then he alluded to the fact that many American citizens cannot afford surgeries due to their high costs or lack of medical insurance. Piker's comments sparked a wider discussion on Twitter, where clips from the stream were reshared amongst users who wrote that they thought people should not be turning to wealthy influencers to fix widespread societal problems. Here's the thing, man, and this is the thing that I really want to emphasize with this whole thing. All right, and then we're going to move on from this. The biggest takeaway that I have from this is to be thankful for the opportunity, but also on top of it, people truly don't understand, and I'm going to say it all the time, people really don't understand everything from a business perspective, right? When it comes to healthcare coverage, you are not owed anything. There are people, systems, investments, research, and capital that is being deployed on a regular basis in order to even advance technology to the point that it is. And more importantly, there's a lot of people that spend a lot of time in order to get the validation and the licenses necessary in order to even be able to perform these surgeries in the first place. Who you think gonna pay for that? Who you think is paying for this research? You think money just grows on trees? Technically it does, but it has to be backed by and substantiated by something, which is one of the reasons why you're sitting here and complaining about the cost of eggs, because you don't understand inflation, right? Let's break this down, y'all. When it talks about water, and we say every person in the world deserves clean water, who told you that? Who told you that? It is not a politician's job to fix your life issues and problems. You don't deserve. That reminds me of people and when women say that they deserve a good man. Who told you that? Right? When you think about clean water, right? Do you know what it takes? Because I've actually had conversations with Kwame Kilpatrick, who overseen Detroit's water, not Flint, Detroit. And Detroit's water is a world-class system that is studied by plenty. And we talked about the Great Lakes Water Authority, which then took over Detroit's water, which is a completely different conversation. But what it takes in order to be able to run these and investments and the technology and also filtering through and cleaning and then, running these things and when pipes burst and all of this and maintenance and technicians and all of the different people and equipment and infrastructure that you have to build in order to put out this clean water, and then somebody just look at you in your face and say, I deserve that. Says who? Says who? You could be living in the third world country where nobody invested in the infrastructure and you got to walk 5 miles just to get a bucket of water to be able to drink every day, and then you're going to be carrying it on your head like them Africans are, and that's going to be the end of the conversation. When we talk about the things that we deserve and we move based off of entitlement, nobody owes anybody anything, and I don't see anybody outside of the people that is actually donating their time and their philanthropy, making an investment to the general public in order to pour into them, because the ones that criticize the most are the ones that's the most selfish. Those are the ones that have never donated anything. Those are the ones that then criticize the churches but ain't never paid the tithes and offerings, ain't never ever went on to a person's live stream but will criticize other people for giving super chats. It's always the ones that have the most to say that are the most prosperous and to benefit the most. You are blessed. And then you take that blessing and then you double it and you triple it, and you show God how appreciative you are by being a good steward and multiplying that blessing and then being a blessing and a help to somebody else. That's the way life goes. God even said that the poor will always be among us. There will always be people that don't have. And just because you're a believer doesn't also mean that you also get all of the fruits and the benefits that come along with being. It says it's going to rain on the just and unjust. You were just one of the ones that were born in this situation. And a lot of our problems are self-inflicted, right? Your mother decided to have you when she couldn't afford you in a particular environment that was raised, that then raised you, and she had a whole bunch of kids that she couldn't afford, and now the government is taking care of them. That's not everybody else's fault. We have to get rid of this entitlement thing that's in us, because it is killing us and it is hurting us and is not going to be beneficial to us long term. So I just wanted to touch on that really quickly because I thought that that was interesting. Shout out to Mr. Beast. I'm sure he'll never see this. However, I am a fan. I have learned a lot from him as far as from a content creation perspective, just from an observation basis. And I think that he's doing great things. And I always am going to highlight and champion and back and give credence and also accolades to the people that are doing great things. So shout out to Mr. Beast.